Alrighty, here comes the fun part. The engine's done, right? After 3 weeks of setbacks, the engine is now good, working order, makes compression, rolls over. That's about all we need to make it run, right? So now's the fun part. We get to actually stab this thing in, and it's unfortunately not just gonna be a bolt-in process because I did not want to spend the $400 on motor mounts, as well as the $700+ in long tube headers. I do want a good set of engine mounts in this thing, as well as a good set of long tube headers. I'm not going with log manifolds, and I'm not putting shorties in this truck. So with that, we get to build it because if you can't afford it, you can't buy it, you gotta be able to build it. So that's what we're gonna do, is I'm gonna show you guys how I build the motor mounts in this thing, get this thing set, and get our transmission mounted and installed. So with all that fun stuff, we get to reveal finally what transmission's going in this thing, and a whole bunch of Bob the Builder in this thing together. So let's get into it. All right, so I also realized that I don't think I might have mentioned it once or twice, but this is the amazing transmission that's going into Highboy. Yes, very nice. This is a ZF5, if I can get it around this truss member without dying. Right here, this is the old transmission that is gonna make its way into this truck. Somehow, I don't really know how I'm planning on doing that yet, but this is the one what we're going with. We're not going with a 4-speed, we're not going with an automatic. It's a Highboy, come on. Not only that, I have a 4-speed in the crew cab and I like it, it's fun, but I never started with anything. This came with a C6, which we sold and got money back. So if you guys are talking about budget, we'll give you an update in this one as well. But we've got about $600 back for the transmission and $1,000 back on the 2-wheel drive chassis. So we have $1,600 to put back into the budget, which bought us this. Now this is a ZF5 4-wheel drive 460 transmission out of an F250, specifically an OBS truck. So if you found any OBS that has a 460 and a 5-speed or a brick nose with a 460 and a 5-speed, you would have had this guy. And you can see this is a 4-wheel drive version because of the tail housing right here that is supposed to be married to a 1356 transfer case. Now, all of those things should work together perfectly in harmony in an OBS, not in a bump side. They don't fit in a bump side. ZF5s fit horribly in bump sides because you have to cut a lot of the trans tunnel out, and I don't even know about the transfer case yet, so we have to find that out together. However, L&L and a couple other companies do make motor mounts that bolt the 460 in this truck. Now, what transmission a lot of people are running, I don't really know, but I know people have put this exact combo in these frames before, and I'm sure with mounts you can buy, you could probably bolt it almost all the way in, but we're not gonna do that because we're broke boys and we build shit. So that's what we're gonna do, is we're gonna build everything and Bob the Builder this bitch together. I'm probably gonna say that like 7 times in this video. Bob the Buildering, yes, that's what we're gonna do. All right, so we're gonna get ready to put the 460 in the truck, and there's a couple things that have to go on this thing, obviously, before we put it in. We gotta put a clutch, we gotta put a flywheel, we gotta remember to put the damn backing plate on, because I, along with everybody else, will put the entire engine in drivetrain in this truck, and the backing plate will be sitting on the floor. Yeah, I'm guilty of that too. I've done that many times with my F100. I'm not gonna do that with this, it's sitting over there, but that's for later. I'll probably forget it, but either way. So next thing is we have the flywheel and clutch, and so what I have here is a Street Pro setup from McLeod. Now this is a 12-inch flywheel and a 40-pound clutch. This is the exact same setup that I have in my crew cab, and I recommend it. I'm reusing it because it works very, very well. I have a lightweight flywheel system in my F100 with a twin disc clutch. That's very good for snappy, high RPM stuff, but when you put it in a tow rig, you're just gonna stall it. It's not gonna tow well. It's not gonna have enough inertia. So these flywheels are awesome because you can see by my little bitty fingers. Oh, I gotta get it on my face on this one. I can't pick it up. Okay, I got it. Okay, there we go. As you can see, it's really heavy. And so when this thing's spinning at 3,000 RPM and I let the clutch out, it's not gonna stall my big block. It's not gonna do that. So these are fantastic to use when you're towing. So I recommend using that. And as you can see, this is a 40-pound weighted steel flywheel, 4 460s, 429s, and it's 176 tooth. This is a 15-inch diameter flywheel. Overall, you can see it has all the bolt holes for multiple different style and size clutches, and McLeod has a variety of different ones that will bolt onto that. So as you can see here, Street Pro, 12-inch diameter. This is the exact same system, like I said, that I have in my crew cab, and I'm really, really a big fan of the friction material that they use on these clutches. And the biggest thing that a lot of people didn't realize about these, they're rebuildable. You can actually send these things in. You buy them one time, and if you wear them out 10, 20, 40 years from now, whenever you wear the clutch out, depending on how much you drive, you can send this thing back into McLeod and they can rebuild it. But on top of that, that's the one thing I want to say is we're using very high quality parts on stuff that matters, and we're saving money in things that don't. So if you can see over here, I'm not going to spend $400 or $500 on motor mounts. And then, like I said, we're going to be building headers as well. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my own. So I was looking online at a set of towers to put a 460 in this thing, come out with shipping to a little over $400 for some boxes with some holes in them. I'm not doing that. I'm
making them. So that's what we're gonna do. So what I did is I went to Off-Road Warehouse. I found these, I don't know the technical name, but they have a sleeve and a bushing and a tube. This is a 9/16 bolt with a 2-inch tube. These are about 20 bucks a pop. So there's 2 of them there, that's 40. These 3/16 plasma cutout tabs, they're 5 bucks a piece. So there's about 60 bucks right here in just tabetry. Is that a word? I think it's a word. I don't know, it's a word now. And then I went over to a metal supply place, and for the tag you can see right here for $84.39, it says right there, I picked up a set of hot roll. This is a little bit bigger than what I need, but I'll have some extra scrap left over. So for everything you see here, I'll be able to build my own motor mounts for 145 bucks and just a little bit of my sweat equity. This is just gonna be so much easier said than done, right? So with that, I'm gonna Bob and build this whole thing together, and I'm gonna show you guys how I somehow put motor mounts together. So let's get after it. See, I've got this plate kind of made here. I don't know what these back two bolts are. Normally I would use them, but I don't really see any other aftermarket motor mounts using these back two holes. If you know what these are for, let me know. I actually don't know what they're for, but just for precaution, in case they're for something important, I'm gonna do what everybody else does and just run this down, and I'll just take these 2 off, and I'll utilize the 3 bolts here, but you can see this will pretty much locate my mount pretty much perfectly. This is kind of what we're going for. So I'll take this, weld that up, cut that out, drill all the holes properly, and that should make a nice pattern. I'll do the exact same thing on the other side, so make those.
All right, it appears that the research that I've done, which involves 1 YouTube video and like 5 minutes on the Facebook groups, I gotta cut the crossmember out and a bunch of other stuff that isn't gonna fit. And the transfer case that I'm using, which I don't have. I also gotta cut the frame to make that fit. I guess start cutting stuff because that's just how you install these things. Step 1, cut everything. Oh my God. Now I just painted all this stuff. That was a waste. Okay. I don't remember necessarily where to cut it. I just know you cut this, so. Well, that's an open fuel line, isn't it? Let's put that right there. Yeah, I can saws out of this, right? Ow, oh, my hip. No, I'm stuck. I don't know if this truck's gonna like pop or fall over once I cut this. Ooh. Oh my gosh. Ah, look at that. Bluetooth crossmember, baby, my favorite. All right, with that, no ZF5 will hit that. It's gonna hit the floor though. I think I gotta cut that out, and that means I gotta cut the vinyl floor. That's original. It's in really good shape. Well, I know a lot of you guys have actually seen the inside of this truck, and it's really nice. Like when you say original, this is like what everybody envisions. And then usually they bring home some $500 parts truck. That's not what this is actually. It's a nice one. Wow. I don't even think this is connected to anything, but whatever. These need to go somewhere safe. This has the original cover floor mat and the original vinyl floor in it. So it's something I need to figure out because technically, I think I can reuse this. I don't think the floor mat is bad at all. So I should probably try to retain that as best I can. This wasn't supposed to be an interior video though. I didn't want to have to take the whole damn interior apart. The seat's still bolted in it. This is in the way. I guess I could just, all right. Let me get all this out of the way. Original form ring, original bolts I'm dropping on the floor, spring. So now we got that cleaned up. Oh, that's the horn contact. Might need that. Just throw that in the bed. We'll never see it again. So I need to take this out. This is the original floor mat, factory floor mat. Very, very hard to find. Does not get reproduced anymore. Let's see if I can get this out without tearing it. This is gonna be the difficult part. There we go. I mean, look at the floor. This is crazy. Man, I almost feel bad like cutting it up a little bit. There's a bunch of stuff under here. The cool thing is these are receipts. I have one of these hanging in my office. These receipts, Tuesday, May 13th, 1997 is this receipt in my hand. There's a lot of old stuff like that. It's a golf tee. Homie was a golfer? Hell yeah. Oh, no way, this is a time card. Dang, it's an old time card. Week ending. The date started with 19, so you know it was in the 90s. This was someone's like proper work rig. This guy really liked going to this chevron. There's a lot of these chevrons in here. What is this, an old magnifying glass? Oh, it is. I can give this to my friends. They can finally see their pecker with it. The issue is I need to cut a big hole right here. I know everybody's getting real flustered when I do that. So I'm trying to figure out, I want to retain this original floor. I don't really want to mess it up. It's in really good shape. It's original to the truck. It's very, very difficult to find a vinyl floor in any shape. That's nearly, in any truck that's nearly in this good a shape. I mean, this is like unobtainium. So I'd like to retain this. I think the best plan of attack is there is, and I can feel it, there's a rib right around here for where that hump would have been. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drag a blade across it and I'm gonna cut it perfectly where I'm gonna cut it on the actual piece. And then I'm going to get another vinyl material that matches this and I'll just put the two together. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think that's my plan of attack for that. I really, really would love to clean this and just run it the way it is. Like you can see, the interior of this truck's perfect. That's why I can get away with the budget build. I don't have to do anything in here. It's already done. This thing has a perfect headliner in it. So that's kind of the nice thing about it is I'm really trying to push the fact that it's all original. It's in actually good shape. So many people that say, oh yeah, it's original. Yeah, my truck's original. Yeah, well, it's original, but it's junk. This one's not junk. This little magnifying glass thing is cool. I'm gonna pull this seat out because I think I'm gonna have to. Fuel tank's next. Oh, nice. It was even tight. This seat, honestly, not in bad shape. And I noticed there's a bunch of paint marks all over it. I think I found clues to who might have owned this because I think it was a painter's truck and I found his business cards. That was really cool. So I'll show you all the treasures we found inside because there's plenty of those. Now I got another couch. New prototype glove. What do you guys think? Even though I probably can't see them. We might come out with these if you guys like them enough. But either way, so this is all the treasures that we found. This is original black Ford seatbelts. These are like, there's so many things in this truck that just you don't find anymore. Like that's a receipt from Circle K. Or no, that's a receipt from Kmart. When's the last time you've been to a Kmart? And then I actually found, there's a lot of these receipts like I keep finding, and he signed his name very, very nicely in every single one of them. And they're local. These were in La Mesa, California, which is in San Diego. And then I found his business card, which has his name on it, and the name matches his signature, and it was a painting company. I'm not gonna say the name of the company, but it was a painting company back in the 90s. And that would explain why there's paint all over the bed. The bed's coated in paint, and the seat has a bunch of paint stains all over it. And on top of that, you can probably even see all the scuffs from like work boots. Like this was his work truck. And that's why there's little specks of like white paint everywhere, because this was his truck that he would haul and mix paint in the bed. It's got the original spare puller downer thingy. I don't remember the name of this thing, whatever. It's not important, we're not gonna use it. And then the original tire iron, that's pretty cool. I think that's original. That's popped the hubcap off. I don't know if these things have a Ford stamp on them or not, but whatever, that's cool. I have that too. Add that to the collection of crap we'll never use. This is important, I don't remember what it goes to. Oh, this is a rear cap mount. Bags, lag bolts, more lag bolts. The other seatbelt that I'm smashing. Oh, I didn't even realize that. Oh, give me that. No, now it's smashing my hand. Ow, son of a bitch. Oh, these are, this is a fax. I've never found a fax before. That's cool. This is a fax receipt. Result, busy. Damn, 11/15/1996 at 13:56, so 1:56. That's just cool, man. Finding stuff from the 90s, just cool. Nice, this guy's check bounced. There's a note telling him to go get his money. Receipts. This was sick, I saw this. This little thing right here, this is a Thomas Brothers map of San Diego, which is so cool. And this, like, if this doesn't show that this was somebody's work truck, I don't know what will. I think I'm gonna frame this. This is the coolest thing I've ever found in a truck. This is the entire, like, San Diego, basically county map. And I would imagine he used this if it was his work truck. This was back when you didn't just have a smartphone in your pocket. If you were doing a work truck, you had a map in your truck because you had to map out your routes and figure out where your addresses were. So you would have circled and figured out where you were going. And this is super sick. And it's got, like, you can see a bunch of mice were nibbling on it. This is definitely getting framed and going in this shop. This is super rad. So I'll kind of show you this and lay it out a little bit. But it goes all the way up to LA, which is super cool. So that's definitely the coolest thing I've ever found on one of these trucks. That's neat. Good map, good map, good map. Oh yeah, this was his gum wrapper. What is this? Denti. This is probably like tobacco or something. I don't even know what that is. Denti. Helps keep teeth fresh. Well, I said that backwards. Hey, let's chill a piece in here. Want some? Hell yeah. How bad is 30-year-old gum? Oh, it just broke in half. It's probably not very good. Yeah, it is gum. I don't know why it's so cool to me seeing stained pieces of paper for stuff that I don't even know what it's for, but it just says a date that's like older than my age. I find a lot of satisfaction with that. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm weird. I don't know. Like, here's a freaking spark plug. This is just the box for the spark plug, and it says 1992. Look at that. Would you look at that? More 90s stuff. There's some sandpaper over there and a bunch of crap. Yeah, I don't think anything else over there matters. There's some nails. Want some nails? Probably a bunch of. Oh, there's more gum. I liked his gum. Dude, there's no way. I didn't think I was actually gonna find something like this. This is my greatest treasure. The little toy car. That is so cool. That's like, what, an old Porsche or something? With the wing? That's sick. Look at that little guy. That thing is badass, man. That's badass. What a bonus. I got a bunch of expired gum and some cars. That's so cool. It's gonna go on my desk. It still rolls. It's like a cereal box car or something, but man, it's back when we had class. Cereal boxes had badass cars. So there you go. You guys kind of see on both sides does this, and then the other side is LA. So you can kind of go the whole SoCal with this map, which is actually really cool. And on top of that, I found little gum wrappers. I don't know what brand or what kind this is. Denti something. I mean, I guess you guys probably know. If you know what that is, let me know, because I'm actually just genuinely curious. So let me know what brand gum that is. And I found little sweepstakes entries things that he did back in the 90s. It's just cool. So now I kind of pieced together. It was a painter in San Diego and he used this daily drive as a daily driver work truck. And you can verify that because you come over here, this totally explains why the tailgate and most of the bed floor is just like covered in paint. I was like, dude, why is there so much? Like, it's in such good shape, but there's just paint everywhere. So this probably was a truck that he took to job sites and mixed all the paint on the tailgate. That makes total sense now. And then if you look at the seat has paint stains like all over it from him wiping basically paint off his pants or whatever and his coworkers' pants onto the seat. So it's all coming together. I really love it when I can actually start putting puzzle pieces on a truck together. That's cool. And there's a phone number. So maybe one of these days I'm gonna call him and see if his phone number from 30 years ago still works and be like, hey, is this John? John, I have your truck. I don't know, it'd be funny. There's like literally no good way to do this that I am aware of. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut like this little access hole, and I'm probably gonna get more vinyl flooring and glue it on top of the high hump to try to match this as best I can. But not gonna happen, we'll try. So for right now, I know that the high hump goes up to like here. So I'm gonna cut like an inch in from that and clearance that for the high hump and the ZF5. And now I don't even remember where I cut. Oh my gosh, look how nice the paint is under here. That's crazy. It's gotta get done, right? Dang, that is wild. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut an access hole for the transmission. I'm gonna cut that out a little bigger. I'm just being extremely cautious. Make sure I don't cut too much out of this. All right, now I'll cut that out. Make a big ass hole. Hello down there. All right, it's about that time. You know what that means. I get to try to put this 1,000-pound drivetrain in by myself. Oh, wrong way. I'm gonna take the shifter out just because I know this little tiny average stick is gonna get in the way. These gloves are badass. Definitely a fan. We'll most likely be coming out with these in the next month or so. So yeah, if you're a mechanic or any sort of construction worker or blue collar anything, or you just like working in the yard or on your car yourself, and you like wearing like mechanic gloves, these are really, really good. I'm definitely a fan. Oh boy. There's not even a shift bushing in this thing. Custom. Okay. I need to like stuff a rag in there because that's gonna make a mess. Let's put a brand new rag in there. I'll fix everything. This is basically brand new. It's brand used. Put that inside of this. See, the goal was not to take half of the gasket and shove it in the transmission. That was not the goal. The goal was to do that right there. I should really tape that off. I think that's what I need to do. Let's do that. This is gonna suck. This truck is really high in the air, and this thing weighs, the motor alone weighs like 700 pounds, and the transmission weighs probably another 200 pounds. So I'm benching almost $1,000 right here. And I gotta get this thing like literally 4 feet in the air, 4 or 5 feet in the air. Oh man, I should probably get that out of the way. Ow. Get out of here. This is the moment we've all been waiting for, right? Well, maybe just me. Oh yeah, that's sketchy as hell. This is gonna suck. How am I gonna get it to tilt? It's about to hit the firewall. And the pan is not even close. Cool, love that. Okay, I just gotta get this to snake past there. So a little bit more, right there. Okay, so now I should be able to go down. Hold on. Okay, you're good. Okay, you go back, I'll do this, go back to pushing it. Push. A little bit. That's it. Keep going. A little bit more. Oh, dick. I knew that was gonna happen. Sitting right here. It'll go in if I could just get the damn... Don't need that anymore. Look at that, it goes right in now. It's only hitting everything still. All right, I have it shoehorned in as best I can for right now. You can see it actually fits pretty well. It's leveled as best as I can get it, roughly with the straps to kind of rotate it a little bit. And I threw the stock FE mount back in it, and this is kind of what you can see why they don't use that. It is too far forward. That's really the main issue with this one. So that's why if I make a new one and I use these holes, I gotta make it kind of angle back. And then on this one, on the other side, you can see this one's got to angle back as well. And then I've got it pretty close on the back where the ZF is. It's gonna be kind of hard to see. And then on the inside here, you can see the ZF sits. This is way higher than it's probably gonna be. But you can see it sits up in here. I'm probably gonna get everything to come down a little bit. But it's interesting because I've seen a couple different guys mount these things in these trucks. And some guys are able to run the high hump cover and simply just use the high hump out of like an MP435 and just cut a little hole for the shifter and it fits. But I can only do that if I drop the motor down more. And you can see it's already pretty close to that cross member right there. And this is also pretty close. So I got a fine line to work with here. So I don't really want to go too crazy. And I can't get the motor over there anymore because you can see there's not a lot of room on this side for the starter and headers. But if you come to this side, there's tons of room. This side has all the room in the world. But the downside is if I stick that little thing in there, which I finally got a transfer case, if I stick this eggshell on there, it's gonna hit the frame. So if I center everything where I want it, I put the T-case in, it's gonna hit the frame. So it's this whole spiral of events to get this set up to fit in these trucks. But it's doable, so we're gonna make it happen. I'd say if you wanted to save the money, you can make your own motor mounts, but if you had the $400 and it didn't bother you, and you could literally just drop it in, bolt it in, and be done, you can buy the prefab motor mounts and the towers for these that pretty much bolt it in. The one thing I will say is I almost guarantee you that a ZF is not gonna fit at all. So I think a ZF fits better when you drop everything to lower. So that's what I'm gonna do on this. That's why I'm building my own mounts. So what we'll do on this side is we'll put my little tabs that I made, we'll weld those on, and then we'll basically connect it to the frame and we'll brace the crap out of it to the rails, and then it'll be all one piece. So that's kind of the goal there. So I got a lot of fabrication to do. It's not gonna be an easy job, and I don't think I'm gonna get them done in the next 2 hours to upload this video. So with that, I'm just gonna get working, and whatever I get done, I get done. I've been absolutely cranking away on this. I spent pretty much the rest of the day, so the video didn't go up, go figure. But either way, we're getting cranking on these motor mounts, and everything is now finally in. It's straight where it needs to be. You can see our gauge right here. That thing is pretty much right where we need to be there, which is good. And then my driveline angle here, this was the one I've been battling for like 8 hours. This is the one I've been battling for hours, as you can see. Sitting at basically 4 degrees. It's a little more than I wanted. I wanted 3, but
The issue is you can see how tight I've got this oil pan sitting in here. It's 3/16 gap in the pan and the cross member. The balancer and the pulleys are like a 1/2 inch right here. So I got to be able to put a belt on it still. If I have to run a smaller pulley, I can, but I want to make sure there's some serviceability here. There's a lot of room to run headers and everything, which is good on this side. And then on top of that, see, we've cut everything for the ZF, and I think the high hub tunnel for a Highboy will fit on this. I just got to notch this part of the shifter out, which is totally fine. Because I've had a lot of friends run ZFs in these trucks, and they're cutting tons of their floor out, and the transmission's sitting way up high, and this, that, and the other. And a lot of the other factory mounts will mount the motor significantly higher. You can't do that with a ZF. I'm finding that out. If you buy factory towers and you try to bolt a ZF in it, everything's going to hit. And this is the bigger reason. This is what nobody talks about, is underneath here is your transfer case, which you have to notch the frame out to fit a 1356. So if you're trying to do a married 1356 with ZF combo like this, which I have now, you can see, I'll pull it out in a little bit. You can see it hits the floor. So that's where that hit. Very difficult to show, but I basically had to sand off one of the ribs on the T-case to get the T-case to go high enough to where that cross member that goes across the bottom of the cab was not hitting the transfer case. And it is like a 1/4 inch from hitting the floor of the cab. And as you saw, 3/16 of an inch on the oil pan on the front, and that puts me at 4.5 degrees of incline angle. That's fine. I can live with that. That'll be totally fine. I can set everything else from there. So I'm just gonna build mount. If I need to shim things one or the other, I can do it a little bit here or there and it won't hurt anything. But these aren't a stud style motor mount that I'm building. They're a legit tower. So if you had a stud, you can pivot the motor up or down and it'll be fine. When you have a tab tower like that, they're not gonna rotate. They can't do that. So when I set this thing, it's gotta stay where it's gonna be. And so I think I'm finally okay with the way that this thing is sitting in here. It looks really, really good. Man, this was a ton of work. I will say, if you wanna save the money, I recommend doing it if your fab skills are pretty advanced and pretty proficient in fabricating. If you don't know how to use a tape measure, don't bother doing this. You're gonna really mess this up. But I do recommend trying it if you wanna try and learn for yourself. I'm building something cool. So you can see it's just a little cardboard cutout. I'm gonna finish making up these brackets, start burning these things in. Now once we get the motor mounts done, we can start working on the trans. And then at that point, it's finally gonna hold itself, finally. So then we can officially call it 460 ZF5 swap. So let's get after it. Alright, it's only taken 2.5 days, but we did it. This thing's actually mounted on one side. You can see this mount is complete. Finally, came out really, really good. I'm very, very proud of this. I'm very, very content with it. And overall, very happy. So you can see it bolts, it utilizes the stock bolts on the top here. And then the 4 that go through the frame rail. You can see there's 2 right here. And then there's 2, you can kind of see that one. They go through the shock mount right there, you can see. But yeah, overall, this is a pretty solid unit. I'm pretty happy with it. The welds came out good. Everything looks content. I'm never going to say that I'm a professional welder or fabricator or anything like that, but I am pretty happy with the way this all came out and came together. It's definitely a solid piece overall, so I'm very happy with that. And the nice thing is if I come over here, so it's bolted down and everything, and the nice thing is I can go here and drop this thing on. Look at that. That's what we like to see, baby. So that one's at 0.1 and this one should be at 4.5 or so, a little over 4. Yeah, that's honestly fine. I'm pretty content with that. So I'm gonna start building this other side. I'm gonna mirror the exact same thing, pretty much. I'm gonna skip all the fab work on that because we need to get this thing done. So I'm gonna catch up with you guys when I get that other mount built, show you guys how it all comes together. What the frick, man?
think I finally have it to where I can drop the engine cradle. So it's sitting at 0.1, 0.2 degrees. This is bolted in. The other side's bolted in. I technically should be able to lower the crane. It's 2:30 in the morning, by the way, on the day of the upload for this video to go up. I don't have enough time to make the training crossmember. I have way too many hours this week and just working in general. And I need to get a video for you guys. So we're just gonna call it with these motor mounts. But I wanna see if this will hold the weight. I wanna take this thing off. Down. Oh boy, that's a heavy boy, dude. Look at that. Sitting at 0.1. Hell yeah, this is dead even. Let me lower the trans a little bit because I'm sure it's hitting the floor now. Beautiful, look at that. This is loose. I'm gonna take this off now as well. There's not really a reason for it now. There's a 460 installed in my Highboy. That was a ton of work. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. That was a ton of work. Can you do it? Yeah. If you have attention to detail, you know how to use a welder, and you know how to use a tape measure, and you can fabricate, I would recommend trying it. If you're impatient, you get irritated easily, and you don't know how to measure, and you eyeball everything, probably not a good idea. But either way, I'm very proud of myself on this one. I will give myself a good amount of credit. I'll show you guys the mounts here in a second. Finally, dude. So long. It took all week. I was like, yeah, this will take 4 hours. 3 days. 3 days later. All right, man, this looks wild. So finally have this thing mounted in here, and you can see right there. Look at that. I will take it, man. And then on the other side here, as I said earlier, I have to take the valve cover off, but you get the point. I'll take it, dude. That's great. Look at that. Look at it's like 0. Look, it actually went to 0. That's so cool. I'm so hyped on this. And you can see this is how the mount came out. Bolts on the stock factory holes all the way around. It's got some symmetry to it. It rolls some incline into it. You can see the motor mount rakes back just a hair. I have tons of room here to get my hand in. I can access the bell housing bolts on the top. This mount's just as sophisticated. It's a little bit bigger. I have plenty of room to put headers and everything in here. Again, plenty of room back here, which is what I wanted. I have a tall valve cover on this thing. Again, plenty of room. I want to be able to get this on and off. And the biggest thing that everybody always has an issue with in these trucks is the ZF, as you can see, is not protruding massively through the floor whatsoever. This is actually not that bad at all. So yeah, very pleased with that. And overall, like very excited and very proud. I will say I'm very proud. This took like 3 full days of work to do. You can call me slow, whatever you want. This is the biggest, most difficult engine install that I've ever done, being that it's an engine, a transmission, and a transfer case that never came in this truck. It's not designed for this truck, nor does it fit very well. I will admit it's a little bit close, and as you can see on the front of this engine, we were talking about 3/16 of an inch between that came in right there. And you have a very similar gap on the floor pan for the transfer case. So it's all very tight. But it's in, and I'm very proud of that. So I think when I pull everything out, I will be 3D scanning these mounts and doing a little bit of R&D to possibly give that as a product option for you guys if you do have this drivetrain. Because all the factory mounts, like I said, put the motor too high. I think this one will make it perfect. And with that, I'm gonna wrap this video up because it's about 2:30 in the morning. I gotta be up in about 5 hours to go do a cruise in the crew cab. And I still gotta edit and upload this for you guys. So with that, I hope you guys went on to enjoy this. I hope you guys subscribe and like the video. This was a ton of work, as I said. I'm extremely tired, as you can probably see. These videos are a ton of work to make, but I really do genuinely enjoy it. I do it for you guys. So leaving a comment, subscribing, liking the video, it all means a ton to me. And if you guys want to check out anything else, you can go to my Patreon where I have a bunch of other stuff there. And with that being said, I'm gonna wrap this up and go to bed. I will see you guys in the next one on the Highboy, but the engine is finally installed. I'll see you guys.